Hudson, just points of emphasis for the tight end group during the spring drills. If you could talk about that a little bit, and then about just your health, because I know you kind of were banged up during the season.
I think with Coach Kennedy coming in, this season, I think one thing that we needed to work on as a group was just physicality, and just being real nasty on the field. That's something that every day we've talked about in our room is finishing everything, finishing blocks, finishing routes, being the last guy, to put a shove on a guy. We want to be those guys that everybody's like, chill, chill. All right. That's something that we've really put emphasis on in our, individual drills. We've been really doing a lot of bags, a lot of just, doing footwork, working on our, insteps, everything, working on our hands, everything that we can do to just help in the run game, because we want to be a force for good in that.
Okay. Speaking of finishing, it looks like you had the last deal on Catalan on that sideline play the other day. So just is that like an example of what you guys are about?
Yeah, I mean, we just want to finish everything. We don't want to get bullied. We want to be the bully. I made a great play on Jalen. Obviously, we both had a pretty big collision on the sideline. And so, I mean, it's just from last season to this season, I think our room has changed a lot, and it's still changing. There's still a lot of things that we have to work on, but we're changing as a group. And I think we're changing kind of the vibe around the tight end group.
Thanks.
Scotty.
Where do you feel like you developed most from the end of last season to where you are now?
I think I've gotten a lot bigger. I've gained about 5 pounds. Coach Walker got us in the weight room in the spring, and he's really been putting us to work in the squat rack. I think one big emphasis that I wanted to work on was just my lower body strength. And I think that's something that I was really able to develop a lot better. And I think just, doing kind of the minor things as a tight end, the footwork, the hand placement, the hat placement, how am I going to run my route? How am I going to, shake this guy off? That's something that I really put emphasis on in the off season. And that's something that's really carried over into the spring as I've been able to play and practice and, show off what I've been doing in the spring, what I've been training for.
And tell me a little bit about Coach Kennedy, just kind of his on-field style and where you feel like he's impacted you the most.
Yeah, I mean, I love Coach Kennedy. I mean, he came in and he really took control, and we really just, gathered around him. And he came from being an O-line coach, and so I think that was a big, transition for him. But it's really not, because the tight end is really just an extra lineman, but also kind of receiver. It's one of the most dangerous positions on the field. And I think Coach Pittman brought him in, to help our run game, to not hinder our run game, but to be a force for good. Like I said earlier, as people who are bullies in the run game and can help out, Traylon Smith and all those guys running the ball, and be able to break away runs and have big plays this season.
Nate.
Yeah, with the quick whistles, I guess I would think it'd be hard to gauge with a running quarterback how effective you all are. Just how do you feel you all blocked for KJ and Malik this spring?
I think we've done a pretty good job. A lot of our kind of arc plays that we have, where we're kind of coming across, dipping and trying to get across. That's something that I think we still need to work on. Is kind of our perimeter blocking, which is what we're getting better at. Is what we're working on with Coach Kennedy every single day. It's something that we worked on actually today. But I'd say, getting guys like Malik Hornsby, who is really fast and really good, and KJ, who's also the same way, getting those guys out in space, where they can make plays and, we're not hindering them out there. That's something that we've really put a big emphasis on as well. And, I'm just really excited for them to show off the season, because they've been having a really great spring. They've been doing really well just in that aspect. It's just taking the ball, taking control and making plays.
As receivers, how has it been adjusting to them after Felipe last year?
I'm sorry, say it again.
As receivers, how has it been adjusting to KJ and Malik?
I think, losing Felipe, I think it was a big, loss for us, but I think KJ really stepped in and he's really taken control and has been a great leader for us, and has really, really led our, offensive group and has taken control. He's real confident out there. He's making great plays. He's running the ball real hard, real fast, making good plays downfield, throwing deep bombs that a lot of people thought, that he couldn't do, but we all knew that he could. And he's been having a great spring so far. So I don't think we're going to miss a beat, coming into the season.
Thank you.
Dre.
Yeah, Hud. I'm trying to remember that game where you were in the game. I think you made a catch, you made a block, but you were like hobbled, like just limping the whole time. What was happening then, and I guess how did it impact the remainder of your season?
Yeah.
You remember what
What was
game
it?
it was?
Yeah, that was Tennessee. I remember it was the third play of the game. We were blocking, and Rakeem kind of bounced around the edge and got tackled I think the D lineman, he tackled Rakeem right onto my right ankle, and I almost tore it. But thankfully I didn't. It was just a really high sprain. But I was able to tape it back up, take some Toradol, just kind of toughed it out, go back in, and it hurt pretty bad, but I wanted to tough it out for my team. I couldn't let my team down. And whenever I felt like I was taking myself out. And I think that next week I sat out just to let my, ankle heal up. And I think the rest of the season, it didn't really affect me that much, just in the fact that I feel like I couldn't plan as hard or maybe block as hard. Because I know in the Tennessee game, I was not able to really block as hard as I could. I couldn't really put a lot of pressure on my right leg. But I think the rest of the season, I was doing fine, up until I got my concussion.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is what it is. The game of football, it's tough. It's physical. Things happen. You get injured. That's why we're actually wearing, padded helmets this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've had one or two guys maybe get a concussion this whole spring. And that's pretty, unheard of for us, for the way that Coach Pittman runs his practices. So I've been really thankful for that.
Has it been, I don't know, discouraging at all to you? You came in as a freshman and, you had an injury early on and I think you got a late start because of that. And then the way things went last year with injuries and stuff, has that been discouraging at all? How do you get through it?
Yeah, no, there's been times where I felt really down. There's been times where, I'm asking myself, why am I getting hurt? Why is this happening to me? Why can't I just play football?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I've learned is I'm not going to let my situation define me. I'm not going to let things that happen to me harden me, soften me. I'm going to use it to change my environment. I'm going to use it to change the guys around me. If I get hurt, I'm going to cheer my guys on. I'm going to encourage them. I'm going to pat them on the back when they do something good. I'm going to help them when they do something wrong. I'm going to be a coach. I'm going to be somebody that they can go to. I'm not going to let my situation define me. I'm not going to let, injuries hinder me from being me. And so that's something that I've kind of had to learn since I've been here. And it took a while, but it's been a journey. But last year, dealing with a lot of those injuries, it's really taught me just toughness, just playing through stuff and a lot of those kind of things. And it's really helped me into this off season. And thankfully this spring, I haven't had any injuries. So I'm feeling really good.
Thanks, Hudson.
Hutch.
Hudson, it seems like y'all have gotten a lot of special teams work in during these scrimmages in the spring. How do you feel like y'all are progressing in that area?
I think Coach Fountain's doing a really good job. We're implementing a lot of new things in punt and in punt return and kickoff return. We're just really fine tuning everything that we did last year. We had a couple of blocks on punt last year, and that's something that we've really, been trying to work on is, how do we get our punt game better? How can we cover better on punt? How can we block better on punt return? That's something that we've really been putting a big emphasis on. That's something that really Coach Pittman has been putting a big emphasis on, because special teams loses games for you and it also wins games for you. If you don't have a good special teams, you're not going to win a game. And so that's something every single day we do 2 or 3 things of special teams. And even after practice, we have something called specialty where, we're having a couple of guys, a couple of positions on, kickoff return, punt return, whatever it is, field goal. They're doing extra things to just fine tune their technique, fine tune everything. And we've been working really hard to make sure that our special teams is as best as it can be this season.
I was also wondering what your reaction was when Hayden decided to come back for an extra senior season.
No, yeah, I almost started crying. I was really happy. Getting to play with my brother. I got to play with him in high school for 2 years, and I knew that I was only going to be able to play with him for 2 years in college. Now it's going to be 3. And so, he had his mind made up that he wasn't going to play, that he was just going to do his, MBA and go to school and get a job. And But I got a call one night, and he just, he told me he was coming back, and I just was so pumped, man, because, getting to play with my family, coming in every day. And, this is already a family atmosphere, but coming in and actually having family makes it more, makes me feel more at home and makes me feel more comfortable. So I was really, really happy to have him back.
Dudley?
Trey took my questions, but I was going to ask you, obviously, how you got a dollar in this now after signing the contract. How proud are you of him? And just what does that show you about hard work?
Oh, man, I'm more than thrilled for him and his wife, Parker. Hunter has just been a huge role model for me. Just not only in the game of football, but just as a man. He's shown me, what it means to be a man and what it means to be a man of God. Just the way that he lives his life, the way that he goes about his business, the way that he works hard is just, it's so encouraging to me. And I just love him a lot. He's just been really good to our family, and he's been a good big brother. That's for sure. And I'm just really, 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 really proud of him.
Thanks.
All right, we got time for a few more. Let me know if you've got more in the chat. Tom?
Yeah, Hudson, you were just a tyke when DJ Williams was up here, won the Mackey, and then your brother won it. Do you kind of feel that tight end legacy in the room and about what you do?
No, yeah, for sure. I think at the end of the day, our goal is just to win games and to help the team as much as possible. And I think in doing that, those kind of things will come. But, we're not really – the kind of emphasis that Coach Kennedy has really been putting on us is, sacrifice. Is, this isn't about us. We're out there to make the play for somebody else. We're running our route to get somebody else over. We're blocking to help somebody else make a play. We're about sacrifice. That's part of, Coach Pittman's mission statement about being blue collar is, we want to work hard, underneath the shadows. We don't want people to, have to congratulate us on everything, because we just want to work hard just because we want to work hard. And so, yeah.
Okay. I saw Cody's got a nice beard going, and I think Blake had one. Are y'all the beard bros now in that room?
Yeah. Mine was growing out a little bit. I actually went home last week. My dad made me shave it. He's saying it was getting a little too scraggly, but we got a couple beards going. We got to get a couple guys going in the room, but hopefully soon we can be the beard brothers. So.
Trey?
I love that your dad can still command that you that you shave. Speaking of tight end legacy with the program, I just remember back when Barry was coaching tight ends here, Barry Lunny, and at one point there were like 7 scholarship tight ends on the roster. And I'm looking at the roster now, and I think Colin's been out and Coylin. You're the only tight end on the roster who came in on scholarship. And Blake was put on scholarship last year, I guess, or maybe the year before. But does the room feel a little light to you? Does it feel like there's not very many people at that? Does it feel thin, I guess?
Like in the past, like you said, we've had a lot of guys on scholarship, but I think more than that, this year we have a lot of guys, even though they're not on scholarship, we have a lot of guys who want to work hard and, don't mind getting their hands dirty, don't mind being physical, don't mind, running through contact and blocking. And I think, I'll take 7 guys who aren't on scholarship, who want to win, who want to play that way, and 7 guys who are on scholarship that are just kind of lazy and, not willing to do what it takes, just because they're on scholarship, they're just going to, make it to the league or whatever. I want guys in my room who are going to be leaders, who are going to lead the team, who are going to, do whatever it takes to win. And if they're on scholarship, if they're a walk-on, I don't really care, just as long as they're able to do that.
Thanks, Hudson.
Last one, Nate.
Just as far as the scrimmage last Saturday, after viewing the film, what did the coaches tell you about how the offense fared?
I think in our first scrimmage, I thought we did very well. Obviously, in everything that you do, there's always something that you can do better. And as an offense, I think we just wanted the tempo better after that first scrimmage. And coming into the second scrimmage, I thought we did a better job of that. I think something that Coach Pittman really wanted us to put a emphasis on is getting on and off the field. That's something that we always do in practice. Every time that we transition from one rack to another, he always wants us to transition off the field. And I think that's one thing that we may have been lacking, this past scrimmage is just getting off the field. And I think we were just shooting ourselves in the foot with penalties, which is something that, it's just mental errors. It's nothing that we were doing by blocking or running routes or throwing or, fumbling. It was just, we were just shooting ourselves in the foot with, penalties. So that's something that this week that, we've been transitioning on and off the field, and we've been trying to minimize those mental errors by watching film and just, doing practice well.
Thank you.
All right, that'll wrap us up. Thanks, Hudson.